Premier League predictions for game week 23. So first off, last weekend, results didn't really go too well. I only managed to predict one result correct. That was the Burnley-Fulham match, which I predicted to be 2-1 to Burnley. If you want to see the rest of my bad predictions from last week, you can check that out in the video that's floating around up here somewhere. So we start with the game between Wolves and Leicester, the early kickoff on Saturday. Leicester haven't beaten Wolves in the Premier League ever, whereas Wolves have only won one of their last 5 league games, whereas Leicester have won their last 2 league matches. So Leicester in some pretty decent form in the league at least. Wolves obviously though having a tough task against Man City the last game and then beating Liverpool the game before, so swings and roundabouts and all that. The last match that these two sides played at Molineux ended in a bore draw, 0-0 in the Carabao Cup, and Wolves haven't actually lost at home since December 2006. So for that reason, not just that reason, but for the other reasons that I mentioned, I'm going to go for a narrow home victory. Wolves to win this one 1-0. The first 3 o'clock game that we're going to look at is Bournemouth against West Ham. Obviously, West Ham with an impressive victory last weekend against Arsenal. I didn't predict that. And Bournemouth with a gutsy display against Everton. Unfortunate to come away with anything. That was quite an enjoyable game actually. Not as many goals as I'd predicted. I predicted it to be 2-2. It was, of course, 1-0 I think. But this one, I'm not going to guarantee goals, but I think there'll be goals in this one as well. So guarantee this to be a narrow victory, I guess, for one of the sides, just because I'm saying there's going to be goals. But there's been at least 2 goals in each of the last 4 league matches between these two sides. So goals almost guaranteed. Bournemouth haven't won in 5 games in all competitions now and have conceded at least 2 goals in every game since they last won. For that reason, I'm going to predict that they're going to concede 2 again this weekend. They are going to get one though. I'm going to say a 2-1 victory to West Ham away to Bournemouth. Next up, Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace are a massive bogey team for us, of course. Everyone remembers us losing the title pretty much against Crystal Palace back when Brendan Rodgers was in charge, drawing 3-3 in a vital game, which just ruined our season, along with that Chelsea result. But let's not dwell on the past and the past mistakes that we've made. I'm guaranteeing that we're going to win today. Why did I guarantee it? 3-1 is what I'm going with. I went 3-1 Liverpool last weekend. We ended up just narrowly beating Brighton 1-0. Won't complain if we narrowly beat Crystal Palace, but I'd like to see us get back into the swing of playing good football, scoring goals at home. Speaking of playing at home, we've actually managed to score 12 goals in our last 3 home league matches. So hopefully a repeat of that in some sense on Saturday will do us very nicely indeed. But like I said, Crystal Palace, a bit of a bogey team, so if we're going to throw away the title, this could be where it starts. But I'm going to go with a 3-1 Liverpool victory. I'm praying that that happens. I'll take a 1-0, but 3-1. Next up is the game from Old Trafford. It's Manchester United against Brighton. Now, Brighton have never won at Old Trafford. The best they've managed is a draw. They last drew 1-1 in 1983. So I'm going to put the Brighton fans out in the misery right now. I don't think you're going to get a result this weekend. I think Manchester United are on a roll. Solskjaer has proven me wrong. I thought they were going to mess up against Spurs last weekend, but they showed some grit and determination, and I think they're going to win 3-0 this weekend. They've won the last 6 matches, unbeaten at home in the league since losing to Spurs at the end of August, a long time, and they've scored 15 goals in the last 5 league games, so I think they're going to add to that tally with another 3 this weekend. Brighton have only scored 3 in their last 5 league matches. Next up is Newcastle against Cardiff at St James's Park. Newcastle are unbeaten in the Premier League against Cardiff throughout the Premier League when they've played each other. I don't think they've played each other that many times because obviously Cardiff haven't been in the Premier League for that many seasons. Reverse fixture this season ended 0-0, so it's a guaranteed classic, this one. Newcastle have only scored 2 goals in their last 5 league matches. However, they have had a difficult game against Chelsea and Manchester United, and I think they played pretty well in both of those. I wouldn't have said they did enough to win, but they definitely had chances, and there's positives there for Newcastle fans. Whereas Cardiff have only scored 2 in their last 6 matches in all competitions. Both sides struggling with the goals a little bit. Newcastle are without a win in 6 matches, have only picked up 2 points since their last win, but I think this Saturday is where that's all going to change. They're going to pick up a 1-0 victory over Cardiff at St James's Park and push themselves up the table, get out of the relegation zone and survive for this season at least. Next up, Southampton versus Everton. Now, Southampton are unbeaten at home against Everton since August 2015, but they haven't won in their last 2 league matches against Everton. Obviously, both of them at Goodison Park, Everton beating them. Both teams in a bit of indifferent form at the moment. Obviously, Everton managed to win last weekend. Southampton won last weekend, but then got kicked out of the FA Cup to Derby in midweek after a 2-2 draw with some drama. That's all I can say. In terms of their form so far this season, Southampton have actually only managed to win 1 of their 10 home matches all season, but they have managed to draw 5. So draw specialists at home. Half their matches have been draws. Whereas Everton have only won twice in 10 away league matches this season, and they've drawn 3. So there's a bit of a theme to this one, and I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think Southampton and Everton are going to play out a 1-1 draw. I don't know where I was going to go with that. I was going to say mash out a 1-1 draw, but you can't mash a draw, can you? And the final 3 o'clock kickoff is Watford against Burnley. Now, Burnley did me well last weekend with that 2-1 win against Fulham, and I'm going to predict that they're going to do exactly the same this weekend, and predicting a 2-1 Burnley victory at Vicarage Road. Now, Watford actually won the reverse fixture 3-1 in August, but they last won at home to Burnley in February 2017. Burnley won against Watford 2-1 in this fixture last season, and both teams are unbeaten in the last 3 league games, but Burnley have actually won their last 3. Burnley in some pretty fine form to get themselves out of any possible relegation trouble that they could have found themselves in. And they've managed to score 2 goals in each of their last 3 league matches. Every time they've won, they've scored 2 goals, and I think that's not going to change today. I think Burnley for the 2-1 victory. Now on to what I believe is the late Saturday game, which is a pretty big one. Arsenal against Chelsea, a London derby from the Emirates Stadium. Now, Chelsea haven't actually won at Arsenal since a 1-0 league victory in January 2016. And there have been 12 goals in the last 4 meetings between the two sides. That's including the Carabao Cup semi-final last season, both legs. Arsenal are unbeaten in 10 home league matches, and they've only lost once at home all season. That was to the champions Manchester City. Whereas Chelsea have only lost twice away from home all season. Therefore, it's going to be another draw, 1-1. That's what I'm saying. 1-1 draw. I would like to say there's going to be goals because there's been 12 in the last 4 meetings, but considering 2 of those games were in the Carabao Cup, and I'm not sure, but they probably did field a weakened team, both sides, then I think 1-1's probably fair enough. Next up, it's the early Sunday game, and it's Huddersfield against Manchester City. Now, Huddersfield obviously sacking their manager, mutually terminating the contract of their manager earlier this week, and they've not been in the best of form really, have they, all season, bless them. Without a win in 10 matches in all competitions. They've not won at home since a 1-0 victory over Fulham at the start of November. Got the worst home record out of anyone, with only 1 win all season at home, and now they have to play Man City, who beat them 6-1 in the reverse fixture in August, and are also, if you haven't guessed already, unbeaten against Huddersfield in their 3 previous Premier League meetings. Now, the prediction that I've got written down is I think I'm going to change it. I've got a 2-1 Man City win, but I think it's going to be more than that. I don't even know if I think Huddersfield are going to score anymore. I'm going to go with a 4-0 Manchester City win. I just feel so bad for Huddersfield. They've played some good football under David Wagner, and they do deserve to be bottom with the performances that they've had, but I'd like to see better from them. I'd like it to be just a 2-1 win, which was my original prediction, and see Huddersfield have a bit of fight about them and maybe grab a goal, but I'm going to stick with a 4-0 victory for Man City this Sunday. And finally, another London derby. It's Fulham against Spurs. It's the final game of the weekend. It's on Sunday afternoon after the Huddersfield Man City game, and I'm not predicting this to be a close one. However, I might change my mind because Harry Kane's injured, isn't he? So obviously Harry Kane is injured. He's not going to be playing this weekend. Son is also not going to be playing this weekend. But I do think Spurs have got goals elsewhere in the team to be able to managed to beat Fulham. And I'm going to go for a 3-1 Tottenham victory this weekend. Fulham haven't beaten Tottenham at home since a 4-0 FA Cup victory back in January 2011. And Spurs have actually won the last 4 games between the two sides in all competitions. Fulham have only managed to win 1 of the last 5 league games, whereas Spurs have managed to score 21 goals in their last 6 games. Now, obviously, there was a 7-0 victory over Tranmere Rovers in the FA Cup included in that, but still 7 goals in the game. Not too shabby. On the flip side, the reason why I'm saying Fulham are going to score a goal is because they've scored in every game since a 0-0 draw with Newcastle back in December. So 3-1 to Tottenham is my final prediction of this week. So let me know what you think. Where do you think I'm going to be right? Where do you think I'm going to be wrong? Let me know what your predictions are in the comments down below. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to my channel so you get notified when any of my content comes out. And I hope to see you next time with some correct predictions.